Hi guys, today I'm going to walk you through beginning this next exercise in Think Java. This is chapter 2, we're working on variables, and this is exercise 3. We're jumping to this because I feel like it follows nicely after the Bucky calculator video. So what we're going to do in this exercise is create a program that calculates some math. We're going to use time, hours and minutes. But what I want to show you in this video is two things. We're going to show you how to start your new program, and then I'm going to show you how to add what's called pseudocode. Pseudocode is where you basically write yourself a to-do list for the program in your own words, and then using comments, you paste it into the code itself, and it gives you kind of like a worksheet that you can follow, a template that you can follow, so the entire program itself doesn't feel so overwhelming. Because if you've just read the instructions for this program, you're probably thinking she's out of her mind. This is just not happening. But really, if you break it down into individual steps, it's much more manageable. So I have Eclipse open here, so let's open Eclipse, and this is the Hello World program I did last time, but let's start a new program. So we're going to say File, New, Java Project. Remember to give it a name. Think Java, Chapter 2, Exercise 3, and I'll say Fall 18, and finish. And then remember over here, make sure you've clicked on the assignment that you, the project that you just created, and you're going to do a new class. You can do a new Java class like that. And remember, make sure it says that it's putting it in the source folder for the correct project. Think Java Chapter 2, Fall 18. SRC stands for source. Package should be left blank. Name should go here. The name is exactly the same name as the project name. And then down here, remember that you want to click public static void so it will make the main class for you and the main method. And would you like to generate comments? I like to put this in so it kind of just reminds you how comments are supposed to look. And then click finish here. All right, so here's my project. The comments that I just posted are nice because it puts the author's name in it. So there I am. So it's helpful when you guys turn it in. I know whose work it is. And there's two types of comments that it uses in here. These are multi-line comments. Start with a slash and then some stars. And then with these slashes are just single line comments. Remember, after each bracket to put your comments that say what the bracket is for. This bracket is the end of main method. This is the end of class. All right, everything I write needs to be in between these two brackets inside the main method. So nothing should go after this where it says end of main method. So I can erase this because I don't need this. And in here, now I'm going to put my to-do list or my pseudocode. So I'm going to go back to the assignment, and what I've said is basically copy and paste the instructions below into your code. Turn the instructions into comments by adding the slashes at the beginning of each line. Once you have your comments in place, begin writing code. Remember to read back through the chapter. There are examples in the chapter that walk us directly through this program. So underneath each comment, write the code that accomplishes the task. Don't worry if you can't do all of it right away. Just fill in the parts you can do. For example, you know how to create variables. Start with that. Once you've set up the variables, start thinking about how you would do the math to find out how many seconds have passed since midnight. Please work with your classmates to solve the problems together. However, each of you will turn it into your own code. All right, so here we go. This is what we're copying, this exercise 3 stuff. All right, there I've got it selected. So Control C to copy. Then I'm going to come back here, Control V to paste. All right, so now this looks like a little bit of a mess. I missed the exercise 3. Okay, so I've got all these errors here. That is because Eclipse isn't noticing this as being anything resembling code. So what I want to do is I want to throw in some line breaks. So hit enter at the end so that none of the lines are running off the side. See how it's running off the side right here? Okay, we don't want that. So just throw in some enters so that nothing runs off the side of the page anymore. And trust me, follow these steps because this is a little trick to make it go a little bit faster. All right, I can delete these three things. I don't need that right there. Okay, so now, basically, we need to get slashes in front of this so we can turn all of this into comments. So if you, Eclipse will help us with this. So if you select this text here, and then if you right click and you say, let's see, refactor, no, source, toggle comment. Make sure you use this top one. And ta-da, it threw in all the slashes. So now I don't have any more error messages. I want to notice and make sure that I put this inside my main method. So after that curly bracket, but before the end curly bracket. So there, so everything's inside my main method. Okay, so now I can get started. So now if I read through the directions, I can see, okay, exercise 3. The point of this exercise is to use some of the arithmetic operators and start thinking about compound entities like time of day. Create a new program called time.java. From now on, we won't remind you to start with a small working program, but you should. Okay, so you already did that. You could have named yours time.java. I like to name mine with the exercise number and the chapter number so I can find it later. So however you named your project, you've already done that step. So check, you've got that. Now, following the example program in section 2.4, create variables named hour, minute, and second. All right, so you're going to hit enter here. And I'm going to need to throw some slashes in there to make that a variable. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to write this code for this step directly under as if it was a worksheet. Don't do it all at the bottom. I want you to do it right here. So create variables named hour, minute, and second. Okay, so I'm going to create variables. I think I'm going to do int, and I have to declare the variable by saying the type, and then I can give it a name, hour, minute, second. And then I end with a semicolon, remembering that you can declare 3 variables on one line. That works just fine. Okay, now the next step, assign values that are roughly the current time. Use a 24-hour clock so that at 2 p.m. the value of hour is 14. All right, so now I'm going to say the current time. So here, hour equals 12. And remember, we're working with numbers, so we don't put any quotation marks in there. Then I'm going to say minute equals 20. And seconds equals, just going to throw in a number there, let's say 5. All right, so I've got my variables set. All right, no problem. So now here comes the tricky part, and this is the part I would like you to go through. First, go through each instruction and give yourself a little space in between. So seconds since midnight is that step. Calculate and display the number of seconds remaining in the day is the next step. Calculate and display the percentage of the day that has passed. You might run into problems computing with integers and so on. So that's 1. And change the values of hour, minute, and second to reflect the current time again. Then write the code to compute the elapsed time since you started working on this exercise. Hint, you might want to use additional variables to hold the values during computation. Variables that are used in computation but never displayed are sometimes called intermediate or temporary variables. Okay, so space there to do that piece. And then the last piece, if I get finished, will be to do this extra credit bit here. All right, so now what I want you guys to do is puzzle through a little bit. How could you figure out how many seconds have passed? So I'm going to let you do that in on your own. And so